This is Dave Ross on the CBS Radio News.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Eli is back here in the 84 WHAS studio. Good to see you again, brother.
It's good to see you, Terry. It's been a while. Been traveling around, spreading the word of relationship health.
Oh, that's good. I was worried you were in prison or something.
No.
Spreading the word of relationship health. That's good. Dr. Eli Karam is president-elect of the Kentucky Association for Marriage and Family Therapy. His website is elikaram.com. His last name is spelled Karam, because he's one of those kind of people. Don't spell my name the way other people think it should be spelled. Make it difficult. Why are you the Karam, K-A-R-A-M versus K-A-R-E-M?
There's a lot of E-M's in town. It's just one of those.
Do you ever get into a tussle with someone who spells it K-A-R-E-M?
Oh, they're in the majority, so you can't get in a tussle with them. Yeah. So
you rabble-rouser, you troublemaker, Karams.
Hey, I got to do my own thing.
You're like the texting Karams, because texting morons can't spell. I don't know how to write a sentence. I don't know how to text. U-R-D-B friend do. S-M-H. What? Who? What? Huh? What? Shaking my head. Why don't you write that, nitwit? I don't know how to spell it.
Are you doing more texting now?
Yeah, I do, but I go ahead and write sentences. I'm a fan of punctuation.
Yeah, me too. So many people get into trouble in their relationships, this texting, when this should be a face-to-face conversation.
You're going to tie this back to relationships. Here's where I want to start with you today. There's a guy in America people have been talking about for some time. He has been on the road, like you. He's been out for work. He's been out working around America, and he's let everybody know that he's going home to see his wife this afternoon. His name is Herman Cain. I'm thinking this may not be a hello, sweet kiss on the front porch. How have you been, honey? I've missed you. Sort of a meeting. I'm just guessing there might be a couple of satellite trucks on his street.
He's got some splaining to do, as they say.
You got some splaining to do.
Yeah, but
so naturally, we can't get inside the relationship involving Ginger White, because we don't know if that's any of that's legit or any of these other people. However, here's where we can take this conversation and not be too intrusive, Eli. And I don't like to be intrusive.
Of course not.
Let's say, first off, we'll start here. You have a friend of the opposite sex, and your partner doesn't know about that friend. That's a little bit of a violation, isn't it?
Well, yeah, anybody that's close to you, if you're being transparent with your partner, they should know who the important people in your life are.
There's somebody that you'd be texting regularly, as in this Cain case.
Exactly. This comes up with a lot, too. A marriage and family therapist will see couples where one has maybe gone over the line with a workplace relationship, or if someone travels as part of work, as we're talking about, and spends a lot of time working with a project. If you're not transparent with your partner, even if you've done nothing wrong, that can be very threatening to the partner at home, and especially a lot of these opportunity affairs like the Herman Cain case, Terry, happen around travel, because you're in a different place. It's geographically removed from your spouse or your home support, and you can get yourself into trouble that way if you're not being honest and transparent with yourself and your partner.
Let's just say it's innocent. Let's just go with that premise that it's innocent. Still,
just a friendship.
A friendship. If you're texting someone with regularity and or calling, your partner should really know. You would bring them up in conversation, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and I think the rule of thumb is don't send a text or an email or any type of communication that if your partner saw, you wouldn't be okay with them seeing. If you find yourself sending something, you're saying, I don't know if I want my wife or my significant other to see that, then you might be heading down a slippery slope. Why don't you want them to see it?
Exactly. And I've heard before about something that, I don't know, some street vernacular, but it's called mentionitis. Mentionitis. They start to mention, your partner starts mentioning someone with some regularity, and then so that later they can say, I told you about such and such, and then all of a sudden you're shocked because your partner's saying, I'll be leaving. I'm packing my bag. So that's another thing people might think, well, maybe this is a friend, and this person gives me some sort of emotional uplifting moment that I'm not getting from my partner. You should go and tell your partner, obviously, I got another friend here and I'm feeling drawn to this person. Shouldn't you just be upfront with all that stuff?
Well, I think when you find you have a connection with someone, whether it be intellectual or some type of you're on the same wavelength, I think that's always in some ways very exciting for you when you, again, form a connection with someone new. However, someone with the opposite sex and you're already in a committed relationship, again, it is a slippery slope. So, yeah, talking to your partner about what's going on in your work world or other parts of your life, very important. It's like, as we've said many times on the show, Terry, it's like a continual dialogue, staying up to date with your partner's world. These are conversations that happen all the time, but another rule of thumb is if you're hanging out with somebody else, opposite sex or not, even if your partner doesn't come every time, they should be welcome. If you have certain events, hey, maybe your partner's not going to want to go and watch the game with you tomorrow, but they should be invited if they wanted to. So if you're hanging out with someone one-on-one and you don't want your partner there, it's another slippery slope. You might be heading in the wrong direction. So these things, and they happen very quickly too. So most people don't get into situations with an affair where they are looking to do that. It is a connection, it is a chemistry, and things take over quite quickly, especially when alcohol is involved. We know all the research says alcohol spurs these indiscretions.
Right. All right. All that aside, let's push all that aside. No romantic tie-in. Let's even say it's a friend your partner doesn't know about who's of the same gender. Okay. But you are giving someone money, as Herman Cain says he's been doing. Man. You're giving someone money without your partner knowing. Now, that's an absolute violation, too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Even if, let's say you have separate accounts, you maintain separate accounts. Shouldn't your partner know if you're giving money to someone else?
I think so. Yeah, when you see that in two areas, you give it to friends that really need it, that you feel sorry for, or you give it to family members. And a lot of times people think, especially if their accounts aren't separate, well, I was just helping them out. Well, that's great, even if you're doing it for the right reasons. But again, why won't you check that out with your partner, especially if it's a large sum of money? You got to check that out. And this happens a lot in the Herman Cain situation. But also, like I said, around this time of year, you have a family member that's down and out. You want to help them out. You don't think your partner will mind, or maybe you do think your partner will mind, so that's why you don't tell them, and you find out later.
That's exactly right. People say, I just don't want the flack. It's nothing. I'm not really, I make the money, or what some people say, I make the money, or I make my own money, and I can loan money to my brother without telling my wife if I want to. But really, it's going to create a problem down the road.
It is.
Somewhere.
You got to have the buy-in from your partner, whether you're the one in the relationship that is the breadwinner or not. It's all about equity, and your partner has done something to contribute to your relationship, so you can't go make a decision without consulting them.
All right, Dr. Eli Karam's in the studio, marriage and family therapist. He's at elikaram.com, Karam. And, well, AM like radio. I like that. Anyway, hang around because I want to talk a little bit more about holiday pressures. Coming up here in a few on 84 WH.
CBS News